Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Smash a like and get in the comment sections, whether it's live or on replay, because we've got lots to discuss tonight. There's a lot of news and we have had a rejection. We've had someone turn down the mighty Aston Villa. How dare they? How dare they? We've had again another party interested in Jhon Durán, and this time one that you wouldn't really expect. And finally, of course, the Villa financial growth, definitely something to talk about. And what we have learned from the Deloitte 2024 summary of the revenue that Aston Villa have made. So make sure you're locked into this one. Let me know how you're all doing today. And big up to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the show. And let's get straight into it. Of course, there is no other news to start than the rejection today of Loic Bade. It's an interesting one because, again, this is quite a interesting story. It seemed that Aston Villa thought they had this guy signed, sealed, delivered, locked in. But actually, the reality is he's turned around and he says he doesn't fancy it and he prefers the Sevilla project. So let's get straight into this. And this is where journalism is very interesting. This is where journalism really does sort of change the narrative, should I say, of what is going on. Because what's happened today is someone from the Mail, and again, it makes you intrigued in terms of level of reports here. Someone from the Mail, Tom Cole, I can't even butcher the name now. I will be better at that next time. Has basically said, it started off with Tom Colomos has basically said Aston Villa and Sevilla are very close on agreeing a deal for Loic Bade. Only final details to be sorted. And that was at 10:15 this morning. So one outlet is saying, this deal close to being done. Let's get into it. Let's be buzzing. Looks like by the end of the day, we'll have it almost wrapped up, confirmed. And you think, okay, Villa, good work, good work. Where are we going with this? And yeah, I thought, here we go. Basically, I was expecting the Fabrizio Romano to give a, here we go. Loic Bade has agreed to join Aston Villa. Well, look what then happens. Look what then happens. After that report comes in, we get greeted with another bombshell. And it starts with Alberto Fernandez, who basically is a Spanish journalist linked highly with Sevilla. And he goes and says this. And I'm like, how can one source say this straight after? And this was 2 hours later. And comes from Spain. Loic Bade has decided to stay at Sevilla for the project. Personal decision of the player. It's always very interesting when a player has come out and actually decided to reject a move. And that for me is fascinating in itself, that someone like Loic Bade has said, no, don't fancy it. And so you want to know how firm is this? How come the Mail are reporting 2 hours before that Loic Bade is about to sign the dotted line? And then, a couple of hours later, a Spanish journalist is saying, no, it's off. Personal reasons. But yeah, big up to everyone who's in here. Make sure you smash the like and let me know. Big up to Fraser, who's on the darts hype. Jack says, I think Williams from Athletic Bilbao would fit our team for some reason, a wide forward. Those Williams brothers are locked in, though, at Bilbao at the moment, 100%. People are always trying to prize them away. It ain't happening. But yeah, Loic Bade. So I'm going, okay, where is the story going? We've had a report telling us it's going to be done. We've had a report telling us it's, off. Player doesn't want it. And then, of course, the tier one comes in and confirms it all an hour later in Mr. Fabrizio Romano, who basically comes in and says, here we go. Loic Bade, deal is not advancing, currently in total standby. Player has also not accepted the proposal at Fabrizio Romano. So, big up to Adam Sky, who says he's happy, good. He's slow and inconsistent. I've been reading about. He may as well be known as Loic. Exaggerated the baddie, and big up to you. And that is genuinely a very interesting fact that Loic Bade has basically turned us down. He's turned us down. He said, screw the Villa. I'm not up for it. And he thinks there's a better project at Sevilla. Now, I haven't even looked up where Sevilla are in the La Liga. I don't even know if Sevilla are title contenders. I don't know. But I want to know what's so much better about the Sevilla project than the Aston Villa project. And sometimes that does ground you. Sometimes that does ground you and make you realise that actually, do you know what? The Villa pool, we still don't have it. If we can't attract a player like Loic Bade, not even really a French international, he sits on the bench, he's not a regular. Not exactly, a team in Sevilla that consistently get in the Champions League. How can we not pull this player? What's going on there? So it also makes me wonder then, who the hell is our next option? Are we going to go back to Oscar Mingueza? Are we going to go look elsewhere in Spain? Or are we going to cut our ties and go for something completely different and go for a different position? And as you don't know, Diego Carlos officially confirmed at Fenerbahce earlier, around 7.5 million for him. There's some money and there's some wages, but we need to fill it. And it looks like Loic Bade has turned it down. I want to big up Fraser as well in the chat. Big up to Fraser on our live stream right now, coming in clutch. He said he's been a member for 41 months. Absolutely bloody love it. And I think that is Quanza as his profile picture as well, which we absolutely love. And big up to Goatser, 41 months. He's one of our own. Big up to you. Who's going to be one of Aston Villa's own? Who are we going to get over the dotted line? But I really appreciate that, Goatser. Absolute legend. And then big up to Adam Sky as well. But yeah, I appreciate it. And Richard Chard says that Loic Bade starts every week at Sevilla. And maybe that is the personal reason why he doesn't want to come to Aston Villa. That maybe he feels like he can't be guaranteed a regular game week in, week out. Because if you look at it, Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings, Ezri Konsa, Loic's looking at it going, hey, I play every week for Sevilla. What can you guarantee me? So, yeah, I want to know. I want to know what people are thinking. Are you happy that we haven't gone for Loic Bade? As I said, Adam Sky has been talking about how he was worried about his lack of pace, that some people in Spain are reporting him as basically a carbon copy of Diego Carlos, really, and that it's not really an upgrade. Or are we missing out and are there better options? And I've already seen the name Tomori floating around in the chat. And would Tomori be a better option? I think it's an optimistic, a skeptical one, but would Tomori be that player? So there we go. And look, Martin Skriniar as well was another one linked, but he looks set for Fenerbahce. So I really don't know. Will Aston Villa end up back with Oscar Mingueza, or will Aston Villa end up finding another path, another option? But yeah, cheers to everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Just a little drink there. As we enter, a really crucial week now in the transfer market and what happens next. So Loic Bade has rejected us. We're not going to have Skriniar. He's gone to Fenerbahce. We're basically looking at a really worrying situation here that Aston Villa are losing out on their first choice option. If you remember as well, Monchi has spent a lot of the time in Spain scouting Loic Bade, spending time at the games, and we haven't got this guy over the line. What is that about, people? What is that about? So we will go to the next update in a minute. If you haven't all done so already, make sure that you are smashing the life out of the like button. We would really, really appreciate that. And as always, do get involved in the comments. We'd love to see it. So that was some news today. What was also an interesting story, and this was something we'll probably come on to as well, is that not only Loic Bade, but there was also a rumour. And again, this is why I say about transfer windows. Now, I think this one is a bit of a rogue shout and a terrible shout. This, for me, screams fake news. This, for me, screams fake news when this one came through as well. And this is why you have to disregard. Whenever I see a Sky Sports reporter, whether it's Manesh, whether it's Lyle Thomas, whether it's someone else, I always think fake news now. Because, look, this one came in. Aston Villa have rejected Sevilla's request for Lamar Bogarde and talks over a deal for Loic Bade. How true that is, I am not sure. I am not sure if he was ever part of the deal or not, but I feel like this one was way off the pace and completely out of tone. Now, we know that Bogarde has basically started being used by Unai Emery a little bit more. We saw his brilliant outing against Arsenal in centre mid at the Emirates. And really, it's a massive respect to him for how well he's done in that position. But it does seem that I think this was a bit of a red herring, a false one. I think it's a bit of a false one. I don't believe in this report whatsoever. And I think sometimes Sky Sports are way off the mark with their rumours. However, I do feel, though, that Villa are still not done with their loan moves. And I'll show you in a second. But big up to the chat. Big up to Baena can leave for 45 million. That's an interesting one. Big up to Z. Hope you're well. Look, we've had a rejection. Are we making moves? I feel like in the next few days we still will. Big up to Spicy Pricey in the chat as well. And Fenerbahce are definitely making better moves than a lot of teams in this transfer window, 100%. Leslie Pace says, we only want players who want to be committed to Villa. That applies to Duran as well. Unai needs to shake things up. Players not performing need to be dropped and others given a chance. Unai has even given himself a little shake-up, and we'll go to that and probably talk about that. Unai Emery's basically criticised himself publicly and said he got it wrong against Monaco. He got it wrong playing two strikers. And I respect it when the manager's been able to come out and say, look, I messed up. Everyone needs a little bit of a wake-up. Everyone needs a little bit of a shake-up after that Monaco performance, and Jhon Durán himself does. But while I'm talking about Bogarde, we also then had more news coming here today, which I found quite interesting, about Bogarde and, of course, a potential loan move. Now, I know that Bogarde has caught a lot of interest from Championship clubs. And this is someone called Darren Whitcott. Now, I would probably put this as a C-D list tier. If I really wanted to tier this isn't a very good tier. This isn't a very strong report. But I also can see this one, 100% see this as something that could happen. Because we need to find moves. And it says here, Derby County are ready to join the race to sign Lamar Bogarde on loan from Aston Villa. Swansea City, along with clubs from overseas, have explored a deal for the Dutchman. Now, again, I'm putting this guy, Darren, as a C-D tier source. I don't think it's reliable. I don't think it's one to get your hopes up about. But what I must say is this. Bogarde being rumoured to go to Sevilla on loan. Bogarde rumoured to go to the Championship on loan. There definitely seems to be a bit of scope on that one. 100% that he could be another player. Now, again, I'm looking at Villa's squad depth. And I'm going, hold up. Do we not actually need a player like Bogarde as seen in the Arsenal situation? At the moment, Onana, Barkley, McGinn are out. We are really short in centre mid. With Kamara and Tielemans, we basically are really short in centre mids, and he's done a fantastic job in there. But second of all, if we do not get this extra centre back in or right back, if we finalise the end of the transfer window and we do not get our replacement of Diego Carlos, Bogarde needs to stay, because Bogarde, as we've seen, is playing at right back and has done a job there and relieves the pressure on people like Ezri Konsa, etc. So, do you think Bogarde will go out on loan? Do let me know. Do you think this is something that absolutely you would expect to see? And do you think this would be a good move? And I know that actually, I can see Adam is saying he would like Bogarde to probably go out overseas, which, again, for me, he's already played at, is it Feyenoord? He's already had a bit of overseas experience. And I think, why not actually, though, batter your wits out in England and go steal it? See, I think that seems to be the case. I think that Bogarde going out on loan definitely could happen. And I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. But I think we need to get a player in before we let Bogarde go. So there's that one. Next one then, for me, is about none other than Jhon Durán. Now, we've got to talk on Jhon Durán, not just in the transfer situation, but in general, what is he bringing? Now, I don't, again, when I list these sources and when I list the tier of what they are, this guy is a bit of a Twitter guru. He loves transfer news and he covers all countries. And it's not a credible source, all I'm going to say. But what I will say is this. We take all news, murmurs and whispers seriously. So the source was Santi JFM, who's a football journalist, an independent one. He's got over 300,000 followers on this platform. But it's this. Al Nassr is now entering the race to sign Jhon Durán. I will continue to echo my statements on Jhon Durán. I believe Jhon Durán will not be going in this January transfer window, but I believe that we could be seeing the end of him in the summer. What I do believe, though, is that with Jhon Durán, he is going to attract interest from every horizon. And I think Aston Villa, no doubt, have to hardball this. Aston Villa have to go and find, if we are going to cash in on Jhon Durán, we have to find the highest amount of money, the highest way in which we could get the biggest return, and of course, make sure there is potentially, but I doubt it, buyback clause in it. That's how I feel about Jhon Durán's situation. But what I do think is that Jhon Durán has, whatever the weather, still left question marks and doubt over Unai Emery. And I think that was really apparent. in the Monaco game, in where Unai has come out after and said, I should never have gone with 2 strikers. Jhon Duran's situation for me is a massive, massive, massive conundrum for Aston Villa Football Club. We either have to listen to Unai Emery, and if Unai Emery goes, there's something about Jhon Duran that I just cannot trust, cannot deal with. He's just not my type of player. Then we have to let Jhon Duran go. We have to trust Unai. I think it was really telling when Jhon Duran had limited game time, an unused sub against Everton when he came back for his first game back. He was an unused sub at Goodison Park, warming up. We saw him on the bench at Monaco. Again, yeah, he came on the 55th minute. But everyone was convinced that Duran would have started in the Champions League game. Now, watch this weekend. If Jhon Duran, again, is on the bench against West Ham, it does make me think, when is Unai going to use him? When is Unai going to probably say, this is your time? And I just think there is this mentality thing about Jhon Duran that the gaffer, the manager, is not sure about. And I'd want to know your thoughts on this. Do you think there is still a trust issue, a relationship issue, a real sort of ability to put all eggs in Jhon Duran? Or do you think we're just buying our time? We're just easing him back in after the January transfer window shuts because of all the speculation, and Duran will eventually claim the number 9 shirt. Would love to know your thoughts. Adam Sky says Duran could easily be a 20-30 goal a season striker with the right service or a better side, to be honest. Exactly. I think, Duran is hungry for goals, hungry to prove on the biggest platform. And you know what? He's still not getting those opportunities. Big up to VJ, said like, share and subscribe. Big up to the Van Ross. Big up to Mike Kane, who says he doesn't think highly of Bogarde, but he needs to stay if we don't find a replacement. I agree on that, Mike, 100%. But look, I'm going to say this again about Duran. Don't believe that he's going to be sold this window. Do you think Unai is protecting him a little bit? Do you think Unai Emery is sort of going, do you know what? Let's let January pass by, John. Let's just keep you there. But I do feel there is a breakdown in some sort of relationship between Unai and Jhon Duran. I just don't think Unai completely has a grip on him. And can you imagine if Ollie Watkins keeps starting over you? If you're Jhon Duran, right? If you're Jhon Duran, you're going to be in the gaffer's ear. Why does Watkins keep starting? When am I going to get my start? How come I'm not starting? I score goals. I come off the bench. Why am I not getting my start? The other side of the coin as well is this. I want to ask people this. Why do we not see as many strong Ollie Watkins interest rumours? If Aston Villa were going to keep Jhon Duran, then where is the interest in Ollie Watkins? And I think Unai has basically cryptically told us after Monaco, he can't deal with having those two. He needs to depart one of them. He needs to depart one of them. So look, let's just confirm this again. This story that we're at. Al Nassr is now entering the race to sign Jhon Duran. It's a mid-tier source. It's this level CD source. We're not going to get hyped over it as such, but we're going to remember that Jhon Duran is more than capable of being sold if we don't want him. And yeah, that's where we're at, chat. Big up to Farmy's in the house as well. Well done, Farmy. Big up. How are you? Big up to you, mate. And yeah, let me know then. Jhon Duran, is he staying? Is he going? Where do you think his preferred destination will be? Do you think Unai Emery can handle the beast that is Jhon Duran? Or is it going to be a case of, ta-da, mate, you got to go and we're going to cash in 50, 60, 70, whatever we can for him. And if we're looking at Saudi, we'll take 200 million. We'll take 200 million, 100%. So what have we got here then? Spicy says, for me, Duran is a liability. Too much of live wire. Occasional word is okay, but not great. Move him on for big money. Spicy's cashing in. Big up to Amadou Onana's in the house. Send up the Villa. Big up to Amadou. Good luck on your recovery from injury. This guy says, can't he just try sticking Ollie on the left wing and JD up front with Rodgers behind, Marlon on the right, with Buba and Yuri in the middle? Would be beautiful. Would be beautiful. Does Unai Emery believe that that's what Ollie Watkins to do? Clearly not. But I think that it's really interesting, actually, what you say there, that a lot of Villa fans would love to see that. But Unai's tried it. I don't think we'll ever see Duran and Watkins on the pitch again after that Monaco debacle. It's just not worked. It's just not worked. Leslie Pace says, I think Duran will be off if a club comes in the right price, 19 million plus. What, this window as well would be interesting. And big up to Aviations who sent up the Villa. Okay, transfers. We'll keep an eye on that because I think Aston Villa definitely need to go find a new replacement for Mr. Loic Bade. I would even probably say that, we are probably going to have to go back to Oscar Mingueza. I really feel like that's where we're going. One final little bit of transfer news before we talk about the Villa finances is that 100% Villa are trying to hijack this move. It was reported by Fabrizio Romano that RB Leipzig were in the pole position to sign the youngster Tidiam Gomis. As I said, he plays in the second division in France. He's an 18-year-old winger, tricky, versatile, and of course a hard one. But RB Leipzig apparently were in the prime position. However, it does seem that Aston Villa are ready to hijack that move. Now, this smells very much a situation like the Morgan Rogers one chat in last season, where we were persistent with Middlesbrough that we were going to sign him. Villa have been keen on Tidiam Gomis all window. We've been chasing his signature, and I think we want to land him. He is definitely a player that I don't see coming and starting and playing in the first team squad whatsoever, but he's definitely really one for the future. And I just want to confirm that. Why is this interesting? Because Villa are basically ready to hijack RB Leipzig and overtake them. So, yeah, just one for everyone in the chat for that. And I don't know if anyone's followed the Tidiam Gomis story, but we still haven't got that one over the line. So there we go. Farmy says, I really like Duran when he comes on from the bench. The matches tend to get a restart with speed and all sorts of game changes. And yeah, Ollie is great assist king. But yeah, Loic Bade is definitely someone that we have basically decided to try and put all our eggs in, and he's rejected us. And so we have to just nod our head and go, all right, you've rejected us. We'll take it on the chin and we'll go find someone else. And I do think Mingueza might be the one we go back to 100%. And yeah, hope the Blue Noses lose, Spicy. So there we go. Right. Let's go to the next story then, what I want to talk about, which I found absolutely fascinating today, which is the Villa financial growth. Aston Villa's money. What are we doing with our money? How are we making our money? What's going on? How did 2024 fare? Well, interesting story coming up, twofold really. So let's start with this one. This was released by Aston Villa straight up. Let's get this one on the screen then, and let's see what you guys make of this. So Villa are trying to compete, as we know. We have seen what money means to Aston Villa this year with the complete change in tact in ticketing, in the change of trying to grow the off-the-field stuff to improve Aston Villa and make more money. We've even seen that by Christmas next year, we're going to have this whole new state-of-the-art facility to screen games, a fan zone, all sorts. Villa are trying to make as much money as possible, and they're going to go and do it. And this is a really positive sign what we're doing. And yes, fans are going to have to accept that we are going to see ticketing prices of the £90 plus Champions League tickets to accommodate all and everyone. And that's the way the sort of cookie crumbles right now. So yeah. And before we go any further, guys, we're 23 minutes into this video. Make sure you have smashed the like button. We should have at least 20 thumbs up by now. So make sure if you're one of these people that you have liked the stream, I'd really appreciate that. And big up to everyone who's getting involved in the chat. I really do appreciate all your comments. And finances then. Look, Aston Villa have experienced extraordinary 27% revenue growth year over year, bringing the club's total revenue 310 million in 2024, with significant growth further anticipated in 2025. The only way is up, is basically what it's said. So 310 million. Well, that's starting to sound like a big six. That's starting to sound like where we should be going and matching the cartel six of your Tottenhams, your Arsenals, your Manchester Uniteds, your Man Cities, etc. with the off-field. Now, this is what I found absolutely fascinating, which was the breakdown of the money. Have a look at this, chat. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but have a look at this. This is where our money was made. The breakdown of how the revenue was generated was 215 million from broadcasting, Villa being on TV, Villa being in European competitions, Villa, massive amount of money from broadcasting. We have to remember how important that is. Match day, 52 million. Now, I actually thought that was a little bit low. I thought match day would be a bit higher, but what I am expecting is for the 2025 review, I'm expecting match day to be I reckon match day is going to be up to 70. I really do. I feel like this season coming up, when the 2025 report comes, I'm expecting a massive growth on match day because of all the hospitality that Villa have added, because of the pricing changes that we've added and the category. And then commercial as well. I know we've done a lot of work commercially. So remember, this is 2024. We will see a massive increase again in 2025. And that's how we compete. You want to know how we break into the top 6 consistently year after year? This is how we compete. But this one, I'm not so sure. But it's an interesting there. Now, I don't know if this is someone who has done the maths wrong, but we're gonna give the benefit of the doubt here. But I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't know if you guys have seen this, and this blew my mind when I saw it. The wage bill at Aston Villa is equivalent to 96% of the 310 million in revenue that the club generated in 2024. If our wage bill is that high, then we've got serious issues. Serious issues if that is our wage bill. Now, I don't know what people think about that, but I think that maths can't be right. Now, if anyone's very good with numbers, if anyone takes a huge interest in numbers and maths, do we really think Villa's wage bill is that high? Because if it is that high, then crikey, we are in a difficult situation. Because if players want a contract renewal, my God, we're going to have to offer more money. But second of all, selling players is going to be really difficult for them to take a wage cut. Now, it sort of makes sense how and why Aston Villa are basically doing a one-in, one-out system. Villa have now operated a one-in, one-out system, which basically is saying when we sell someone, we get someone in, because that's working on the wage bill, in my opinion. That's working on the wage bill and what we've got left on the wages. And I feel like that is how Villa will continue to operate, that we've almost put all our eggs onto this crop of players, like our Youri Tielemans, like our Pau Torreses, like our Kamaras, like our Jhon Durans, our Leon Baileys. I feel like we've given them really big contracts, really big wages, and we have to hope that crop of players delivers now. Amadou Onana, all these Unai Emery signings, I think, have come with a big weekly salary. And so, yeah, we never know the ins and outs of that, but that was an absolutely unbelievable stat when I saw that, and I thought, crikey, what are Villa doing? So some of you are saying that wage bill is high. No chance it would never be that high, surely, says Aviation. All goes to the greedy player, says Richard. Look, wages are a fascinating entity. Do I think that Aston Villa have, if that is true, we've got to be really careful, because that is not sustainable. That is not sustainable whatsoever. But we have to trust the footballing gods. We have to trust those who are in charge, and we have to trust that our owners are constantly putting their hands in their pockets to make Aston Villa the superpower that we are. And I think it does remind me that if this was the days of Dr. Tony Gia, we'd be in absolute trouble. However, I think we're in such great hands with Nassr Suarez and Wes Edens, and I'm really grateful for them as club owners. I really am. So, yeah, that's the news coming out today. We've had the finances, we've had the Loic Bade rejection, we've had Saudi Arabia telling us they're going to go by Jhon Duran, Al Nassr, and it's all go with Aston Villa. Look, we have West Ham on Sunday. The build up to that is going to be absolutely incredible. I think that Villa have a must-win game against West Ham. We've already done them over in the FA Cup. It only took us 15 minutes to play well, and we rolled them over. Hopefully, Villa can bounce back from that terrible Monaco game that we played midweek, because, yeah, Unai Emery clearly wasn't happy with himself, but also the players. And I think we have to really lock in now and focus on climbing up that league table. If Man City do a job over Chelsea and we win, we're 1 point behind Chelsea after the weekend, and that's going to be exciting. So, yeah, definitely locking in on that. And I'm hoping we get some more transfer news, some more sort of insight into which defender we're going to go for next, because we've lost out on Loic Bade, and really pushed the boat out there. Carl Bates says Man City's wages twice that. If you want to compete, you have to have such a wage bill. It does seem that way. It does seem that way. And that's why I'm saying we're operating on that one in, one out sort of strategy, I believe, in my opinion. And big up to Captain Hindsight as well. But yeah, we are going to wrap up on there. That is the daily sort of transfer news, rumours and stories that have come out of Aston Villa. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. I appreciate everyone coming in. And of course, cannot wait for Sunday's game where, we'll be doing the watch on for that and more stories. If there's any big transfer news or stories, we'll be breaking it as it comes. But Carlos saying, Captain said, I feel Carlos leaving makes our window good enough. Well, exactly. If we get the replacement in there, I think, Captain. And yeah, the truth is, consistently qualifying Champions League would increase revenue and therefore wage bill will be sustainable. But exactly why we have to finish in the top 4 as well. That's a great point from Carl. Big up Meekin as well. And anyone managed to get a medium or large size black 150 shirt? I heard they were like gold dust. But yeah, listen, unbelievable. Villa news. We have to get the replacement in now for Diego Carlos, and it will seem a good window. But yeah, Meeks can't miss any more games this season. But we're bouncing out of here. That was our Villa news. Make sure you smash the like button. Double check, have you hit the thumbs up, subscribe, get in the comments. And if you want to leave a comment after this stream's ended, just to summarize any thoughts, then please do so. But I appreciate it. Big up to everyone. Big up to Aviation, to Meekin, to Hindsight, to Adam Sky, to Carl Bates, to Richard Chard, to Leslie Pace, to Amadou Anana, to Farmer Chew, and everyone else, Spicy Pricey, all of you guys who have been in there. And yeah, let's all blame Meekin for why Monaco was such a terrible day. Big up, big up, big up. See you all very soon. Get that notification bell locked on as well so you don't miss a thing. We're out of here. Ta